Good morning, and thank you for joining us for session 42 of our 10-minute Wellbeing Tips for Managers series. Last week, we talked about the importance of leaders providing and receiving support. And today we'll explore how developing a coaching mindset can enhance your leadership effectiveness and support the engagement, growth, autonomy, success, and well-being of your colleagues. Before we talk about coaching mindset, let's take some time to distinguish between a coaching leadership style and a coaching mindset. As most of you know, there are so many different leadership styles, and the coach style is one of these. There are numerous resources that describe different leadership styles, and as you might expect, there's lots of differing opinions about which type of leadership style is best. I've included a link to a video from Indeed that describes several different types of leadership styles, including the pros and cons of using them. So although you may think that I'm going to say that coaching leadership style is the best, I'm not going to, and there's a reason for that. But first, let's look at the coach or coaching leadership style more closely. Coaching leadership was introduced in the 1960s by Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard as part of their situational leadership model. And its popularity has just increased exponentially, especially in this century. It's recognized as a positive, motivating leadership style that's suited to complex and evolving work settings, that promotes skills development, mentoring, creative problem solving, and a learning culture in the workplace. A manager who has a coaching leadership style recognizes and acknowledges strengths and potential in people. They support the development of emotional intelligence and self-awareness, including strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, behavior, thinking patterns, and our blind spots. It motivates people to learn, grow, and improve, and it balances, this coaching mindset balances sharing knowledge and ideas with inviting and supporting people to discover their own. The reason I don't say that coaching leadership style is the best is that one leadership style just doesn't fit all situations, and it doesn't necessarily fit all the people that we lead. The best leaders are able to use a combination of leadership styles in their work. But what I believe, and many thought leaders teach, is that in complex and rapidly changing work environments such as ours, having a coaching mindset is one of the most important qualities of effective managers. The International Coaching Federation, or ICF, credentials coaches globally and has established core competencies, a code of ethics, and rigorous assessment standards for credentialed coaches around the world. And now, in full disclosure, I am an ICF credentialed coach. But what's relevant today is that in 2019, ICF added embodies a coaching mindset as one of its 8 core competencies. And they define coaching mindset as open, curious, flexible, and client-centered. So when ICF added a competency that requires coaches to be open, curious, flexible, and client-centered, they addressed one of the biggest challenges coaches and managers face when practicing coaching. Can you guess what that is? It's something we've discussed before. It is our tendency to identify those we think need our help and overhelp or over-advise them. The tendency to help may be so deeply ingrained in us that it's a really hard habit to break. Now let me be clear, friends. Leaders who embody a coaching mindset are very supportive and very helpful, but they never lead with their desire to provide all the help needed. Coaching leaders help most when they focus primarily on the person that they're coaching and not on the problem. Other common challenges to developing a coaching mindset and coaching habit include our intention to fix the person's weakness or problem, our own skills and expertise and experience. We just love to share our expertise and experience, but sometimes that just gets in the way of the other person's sharing theirs or developing theirs. Then our belief that we may have the answers that the other person needs, the temptation to provide advice, and that's a very, very hard trap to avoid. our need for resolution. In other words, we may want to get to the answer or get to the solution or fix the issue on our timeline. And sometimes people just need more time to sit with it or to discover it for themselves, find their own answers, do their own learning. And then our belief that coaching is something that happens formally or takes a lot of time. At this point, I want to pause and recommend 3 easy to read and very practical resources to help you build a coaching habit and to overcome some of the key challenges. Now, I don't have any financial reason to recommend these books. And if you'd like to hear about others and other resources, please reach out to me because I have a whole bookcase full of them. But the 3 I'm going to recommend are Michael Bungay-Stanier's book, The Coaching Habit, Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever, as well as his second book in the series, The Advice Trap, Be Humble, Stay Curious, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. The third is Marilee Adams' book, Change Your Questions, Change Your Life, 12 Powerful Tools for Leadership, Coaching, and Results. If you're interested in this book, I suggest waiting for the 4th edition, which is going to be released on August the 23rd of 2022. Because it includes a chapter on what neuroscience reveals about managing our fears and stressors and how we can then shift to thinking more effectively. Coaching at its best is a partnership. When we lead with a coaching mindset, we commit to helping our colleagues unlock their potential. The key here is that they are unlocking their potential. We are simply their thinking partners as they build their self-confidence, their self-efficacy, their autonomy, and their sense of empowerment. And yes, as they build their sense of self-awareness. A coaching partnership creates a safe space for conversation and discovery. And what's important is it starts where the person we're coaching is at that moment. It honors their strengths and respects their choices. It focuses on asking open-ended questions, one at a time, and not providing answers. It invites them to explore their perspective and their options and to challenge their assumptions or their self-limiting beliefs. It supports their developmental journey and it affirms their progress towards their intended goal. Establishing a coaching habit starts with one fundamental shift. Give less advice and show more curiosity. This can be practiced anytime you interact with others. Coaching conversation can take as little as 5 minutes, or they can be planned to last for longer or to be repeated. Bungay-Stanier suggests a good opening question is, what's on your mind? Asking powerful questions, such as those that you'll find in the recommended books, is a very important part of a coaching conversation. But when we focus too much on asking the right question or the smart question or the powerful question, that gets in the way of the most essential coaching behaviors. And those are to be fully present in the moment with the person that we're talking with and to listen deeply. Now, coaches will tell you that we're listening not only to what's said and how it's said, but also to what's not said or what seems hard to say or hard to put into words. Please get very comfortable with silence. It provides great processing space. We also, as coaches, notice the energy. Does it rise or does it fall? We listen for the words people use to describe their experiences. And when we hear something that we don't understand or we don't expect, we never interpret this or judge it. We simply notice it and ask more questions, such as, well, what do you mean by that? Or I notice that this really piques your energy. So I may say, for example, if I were working with you, I just noticed that your face lit up when you mentioned that opportunity. You may have noticed that's not a question, it's an observation. But that will often lead to more sharing and more revelation by the person we're coaching. Finally, the Center for Creative Leadership offers 3 considerations for any coaching conversation. All require us to be fully present. Listen carefully and don't assume you know what this conversation is about or what path it should take. Respond thoughtfully to what is said or not said. A coaching conversation is about uncovering the answers through inquiry, through openness and exploration. And then to reinforce what we've already discussed, resist imposing your own solution. If you're tempted to offer a suggestion or advice, offer it lightly. Make it safe for someone to not agree or not accept your thoughts or your opinion. Remember, they are in the driver's seat, not us. And that brings us to today's tips. Manager tip 45. Notice without self-judgment how often you give advice. Noticing is the first step in shifting away from advice giving, but please do it with some compassion for yourself. And manager tip 46, commit to curiosity. Look for an opportunity each day to ask more open-ended questions and discover something new about your colleagues. Next week, we'll explore how we can work together to build a gossip-free zone at work. Hope you'll join us for that. And as always, we encourage you to use and share the resources of the Office of Wellbeing and Healthy at Hopkins. And now I welcome your questions, your insights, and your feedback.